Hey everybody, Derek Judd here with Cowboy Criminology. Of course, I am your host, the Cowboy Criminologist. We're in part 3 of the Sarah Boone case, and if this is the first video you're seeing in this series, uh, I looked at the body camera footage in the first portion, just kind of pointed out what I saw, and then last week in the second portion, kind of looked at her body language and the kind of the neural linguistics, the things that she was saying in the interview with the detectives, and it was not looking good for her. Looking at my intention in going through this was just kind of trying to see if I could see something to like maybe say that people were jumping to conclusions about her. Maybe there is some sort of explanation that explains her behavior and what happened. And no, unfortunately, that's not what happened. This is literally something that started off bad and has gone to worse. We'll talk about a little bit more with some of the developments and everything a little later, but I want to go ahead and I just want to jump right back into part 2 of the interrogation. And so, part 1 of the investigation, it was a little slow to start, but when the detective started playing the cell phone video that Sarah Boone shot of Jorge Torres inside the suitcase begging to be let out, and Sarah Boone was saying, you know what, F you, that's what it's like for me when you choke me, I can't breathe. Just very flat affect, just very matter of fact. And there was something, if you remember in the second video, I pointed out the detective in the red shirt asked what I think is one of the best questions I've ever heard in an interrogation. Were you trying to punish him? And Sarah had this false start, and then she caught herself. Very, very, very telling. All right, behaviorally, there's a lot of stuff there. And, we've talked about how other people who've reviewed this case have, kind of focused on the detectives and weren't very kind to them. But from what I'm seeing, I don't know what they could have done any better. There's a lot of good stuff in here, and when you're trying to figure out how to approach interview and interrogation, watching video like this can be very, very helpful. In a lot of ways, it serves as kind of a training film on what you want to focus on, what you want to avoid. Now, everybody has their secret recipe for how they're going to conduct an interrogation or an interview, and you know what? That's fine. Some people have success doing the good cop, bad cop. Some people have success, with the very heavy-handed, I'm going to lay out everything I have against you, and I'm not only going to get a confession from you, but kind of use that to bury you. What I like most about these detectives, and I don't know if this was intentional from their working together, or if it happened organically, but whatever happened, it actually looks really good. Okay. And what I mean by that is the female detective will ask a question, and the male detective basically gets Sarah Boone locked into a timeline, locked into a version of events that can't be explained. And then the female detective comes back almost like trying to give Sarah Boone an out. well, maybe you were mistaken about the time. Maybe you were mistaken about how much alcohol you've consumed. And all of these disparities come, and while the detectives can keep everything straight because they've got a timeline, they've got an autopsy report, they've got all these things that they can work with, Sarah Boone is having to remember what she said in the past, and she's trying to square that with what happened. Well, that is a telltale sign of deception, because people have, when you create a memory about what happened, when you try to create the truth, it's very difficult to keep that straight. And so we're kind of watching all of those things kind of fall apart for Sarah Boone, but she's locked into a timeline that she can't explain. I think that one of the detectives pointed out that there was like a 4-hour gap in her story between like 8:30 and 12:30 that she couldn't explain. That's a significant amount of time to to go by in a case like this with, well, I was in bed. Well, were you asleep? Well, I don't remember. And so when you're seeing all these things happen, this is good detective work. And my take on it is, the reason it's good detective work is because they've locked her into the timeline. They've locked her into the story that she wants to tell, and even giving her a chance to explain, whether it's alcohol use, drug use, whatever. She doesn't help herself out by taking that lifeline. Instead, she sticks to this version of the truth that she's created, which is kind of why she's in the predicament that she's in. All right. So I backed up the video a little bit from last week, and we're going to pick it up. And if you want to follow along and play the video, we're starting off at 55 minutes and 20 seconds. And this comes just off the heels of them locking her into that timeline, and basically, without just saying you intentionally killed him, basically implying it. Well, now it's starting to dawn on Sarah that nobody's buying her version of events. And the biggest problem with her version of events is that, based on everything else, like if alcohol had been involved, drugs had been involved, if she had been in fear for her life, if any of those things had happened, there might be something there to work with. But Sarah is just bound and determined to do everything on her terms, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So we're picking up at 55:20, and let's hear what Sarah has to say.
Not fair. It is not fair. You guys are trying to, again, oh, he's in there. Night, night.
That's what happened.
No.
That's absolutely what happened.
Intentionally.
How's it not? You got up off the couch, walked up a flight of stairs, and got in your bed.
Thinking he was going to get out.
And he didn't, and you still didn't go down and check
and it's
on
the
him.
whole 30-minute thing that you guys are trying
I don't
to do.
care about
whatever.
30 minutes.
It's like, for all I know, it's 10 minutes.
He's begging for his life. He's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't. I didn't intentionally mean for this to happen.
But you can't tell us why you left him in there and went upstairs. That's my only issue. Like, what am I supposed to write? What do I write?
So my thing is, though, it's what I have a feeling is I went upstairs and just hit the bed kind of thing. But, again, I'm thinking he'll be up here any minute. But then I go out.
But my question is, why didn't you just let him out prior to going up?
I don't know why.
He's begging to be let out. He's not laughing. He's not having fun.
Right, I know.
You said this was supposed to be fun. You were laughing before. Before you said he was laughing, you were laughing, you went upstairs, he had his fingers out of the bag and he was playing. Well, obviously that's not the case.
So are you guys, so what is it you're trying to, like...
We're just trying to figure out why.
Why?
Why?
What was the motivation for leaving him in the bag?
Why he was left in the bag? Why the video?
I didn't have any motivation. It was he and I having a great day, fooling around and being stupid, and apparently me going upstairs and hitting the bed, not going to sleep, where it's like, I'm tired now, I'm going to go to sleep.
Well, that's excluding, that's a good analogy for the day, excluding the fact that he's got a bump on the back of his head, a bump on the front of his head, and his lip is busted, and he has a bump on his eye.
I don't know what you all want me to tell you. Like, this is not fair at all.
Yes.
That you all are assuming that that's from me.
Where else did it come from?
If you were, say it's opposite, you were in the suitcase and you're asking to be let out, would you hope that that person would let you out? Like, you're asking to be let out of a suitcase, should they not let you out?
Eventually. I'm guessing. I mean, I don't...
Stop it there at 57, 55. What a great question. Would you not want to be let out? Well, yeah, eventually. But did you notice how, for the first time in this whole interview, Sarah Boone leaned forward and she had her hands rested on her knees and she leaned forward. And conventional wisdom in interview and interrogation is when somebody is doing that, it's an inflection of honesty. It's like, I'm going to lean in and I'm going to tell you this because it's so important, and it's so important. You need to hear what I'm saying to you. There are things she's doing with her body that, and I'll play devil's advocate. There are some things I'm saying, and I don't know if it's the graininess of the video or, maybe I'm just chasing ghosts, but there are things I'm seeing with her body language that would be greatly exaggerated in a non-stationary chair, like a rolling chair, like an office chair, like the female detective is sitting in. And I would have much preferred to see how Sarah Boone would have handled sitting in a chair that move. Now, she seems to be very composed, but for some reason, she cannot get over the fact that nobody is locked into her version of events. And she can't seem to understand why why her version of events is a problem. And we'll talk about this after we finish the video, but I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of the behavior we're seeing here with Sarah is the reason why we've gone through 8 attorneys in 4 years, okay? And I really like how she keeps asking the detectives what they want to know. And I think, and I could be wrong, but I think if they would just, if they just come out and say, we think this was intentional, we think you murdered him, this was if you didn't go into the day planning to murder George, you certainly took advantage of the opportunity of him not being able to get out of the suitcase. And I think that's kind of what she's hoping for, but the detectives just aren't there yet. They're not there to drop that kind of information. And this is what she's trying to do is a really, really bad version of reverse interrogation, and trying to find out what the interrogators know so that you can kind of change your version of events. It's a very dangerous game to play, and Sarah's not very good at it. But with all that being said, I think the detectives are holding back a lot of restraint because they they hit her with the provable lie. In the last video, we saw the video. We saw Sarah's reaction to the video. She didn't want to see it, and even when the detective turned the laptop and Sarah could hear George's voice, even that reaction was very, very powerful. So they've done good about not just throwing all their evidence out and saying, here's what we've got. This is why you need to confess. All right. So I do enjoy that. But Sarah's behavior, and I know we talked about it in the last video about narcissism. This is somebody who needs to be in control. Even finding herself in the precarious position that she is, being interrogated about a murder, all right, she is still trying to maintain some semblance of control, and she's not quite good enough to pull it off. And having been in that situation, interrogating people who think they're the smartest person in the room, it does get frustrating. And so both sympathy and respect going out to the officers, because like I said, I think they did a fantastic job on this. And you know, regardless of what anybody else has to say, I mean, I can't see anything in this video where I think they should have tried different tactics, should have done anything different. So, all right, let's pick it up at 57:55.
Blaming it on the wine.
So you guys are like assuming that.
You keep saying we're assuming. Well, we're not. We haven't assumed anything.
But you guys
On
are
the phone,
assuming.
5805. She's blaming it now on the wine. 2 glasses between 2 grown adults should not impair judgment to that extent. All right. Alcohol does depress the central nervous system. It slows your reflexes time, messes with your mind, and you don't make the best decisions. Like, I don't know, getting behind the wheel and driving while you're drunk or buzzed or whatever nonsense. So now she's been confronted again. And now it's shifted from, you know, I drink so rarely, which I think we talked about in the last video. Mrs. Garbs, I believe you mentioned something about her being a vodka drinker, and hard alcohol drinkers can usually handle beer and wine if they choose to pretty well because they have a high tolerance for alcohol. So there again, now it's the alcohol. Had she stuck to that, you know what? I lost track of how much I had to drink. I don't know. Everything was fun. I was drunk. I went upstairs. I fell asleep. You've got intoxication, manslaughter at the most. Except you go back to that video that she shot on her phone and the exchange of dialogue between Sarah and George, and even that goes out the window. So the further she tries to dig her heels in on a potential defense or shifting blame, it's like the worse it gets for her. And and that's why she's been through 8 attorneys. All right, so picking it back up, 5805.
That's what I did.
No. By
I did
the facts of what happened. We got there. You said you pulled him out of a suitcase. You said you went up. You went to bed. We're not assuming that. These are the facts that you're telling us.
But
now
what
we're
you said
asking
is
you
like,
to
oh, I'm
explain
tired. Oh, I'm tired.
Well, that's what you told me on a sworn recorded statement yesterday. Because when I said, oh, you went upstairs and passed out, you were like, no, I did not pass out. You got attitude with me because you were thought I was assuming that you were drunk. So that's an assumption. That was an assumption when I said you passed out. And guess what? You corrected me.
You were very adamant about the fact that both of you had your wits about you. What's your favorite word to use?
Compass mentis.
You've used it today, too, to say that you guys were within your wits. There's two empty bottles of wine.
No, but we can drink both of them.
I think you
Okay. If that is not fantastic, I don't know what is. So the female detective, once again, locks Sarah Boone into a version of events, locks her into a story. And remember, I told you about an incident that I had with my chief when we caught a burglary suspect, and the chief was saying that the equipment and everything that this guy had was stolen from this place, and the guy corrected him like 2 or 3 times. And that's when I had to pull the chief aside and say, Chief, stop. Stop trying to be his defense attorney, okay? He'll get one in court, all right? But right now, he's admitting stuff that we need him to admit. So we've got a good arrest. And so, and the detective in the red shirt, I love that. What's that word that you like to use? And she goes, non-compassment. Like she already knew. Most of the time, if you're in a high stress situation like that, and you're trying to remember trivial details about something you've said, I would expect somebody to say, what word? But she knew exactly what it was. Non compos mentis, not in my right mind. But now, see, she dug into that story about she had her wits about her. She doesn't like to be drunk. And now she's trying to shift the narrative. All right. That's that shift from one extreme to another. Y'all, you don't need a PhD in psychology. You don't need hours of interview and interrogation training. You don't need to be a police officer for 2 minutes to realize that means that your suspect was not telling you the truth. All right, so pick it up here at 59.
We didn't.
There's receipts for the same
They were
exact
both
day.
purchased yesterday, so I don't know how you
Two.
didn't. Because they weren't there the day before.
The one
There's
was.
2 Publix receipts from yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing purchased on either one was a single bottle of wine, 2 of them. So we have each bottle of wine that was empty in your garbage can that you purchased yesterday, or he purchased, but you 2 would have consumed together.
Okay, well,
I mean, there's receipts, so it's not even worth the going back.
So this is, so I don't know what you guys are, I don't know.
We were just hoping to figure out.
The female detective, she's just,
What was the motivation?
There was no motivation.
she's over it.
Wow.
Well, we're watching a video that, after talking to you, everything was laughing and fun. Now we're watching a video where it's not laughing and fun. He's begging for his life, and you are in a very angry voice telling him to fuck off.
No.
Yes,
Not.
that's absolutely what it was. It's not an assumption. The video's there. We played it for you.
So you guys think that I intentionally,
You did.
It
You got up
doesn't matter
off the couch
it doesn't
and
matter
walked
what
up
we
the couch,
think.
or walked up the stairs and got into bed. That was intentional. There's no way getting around that. You intentionally did that. Nobody drug you up there. You didn't force us damn stairs.
okay, well, it's not fair. It's not fair that you guys keep trying to say that that's what I did.
I don't know what to tell you.
You told us that. You didn't go upstairs?
Again, there was a hole in a suitcase. I unzipped it from the hole with one finger.
Well, the damn hole didn't do him no good, did it?
But he could push it open.
No, he
Did he?
couldn't. The video
No.
shows him pushing up.
And
If he could push it open, why wouldn't he have gotten out himself? Why would he beg you to open it?
I tell
Okay.
you, he can't breathe.
Okay.
If someone can
I-
do something for themselves, they're going to do it. They don't need assistance unless they need assistance.
So, but why would he start doing it?
Because he couldn't, because it was all the way zipped.
Okay.
Didn't see it.
It wasn't. I intentionally didn't do it. That I intentionally did not do.
What's that? You didn't intentionally do what?
Zip it all the way. He nor I
Well, he's dead as a result
laid
of your
hands
action.
on each other.
He is dead as a result
I
of your
A
understand
lot of
that.
double negatives there.
That's why
You
this.
two didn't lay hands on each other.
No. No. I don't have anything.
You're right.
He doesn't. Whatever that is, whatever it
He
is.
does.
See, this is what happens. It's not fair that you guys, just because he has those, automatically blame it on me. Like,
Well,
Where
what
else are
about
you
when
gonna go?
you had your injuries and he gets arrested? Is that not fair?
really? Like,
It's
really?
the exact
Yeah.
same thing.
Really?
He has injuries. You have injuries. Like, what does that mean?
I don't have any injuries.
Correct.
Because
So
he
nothing
and I
happens.
have not
so
been
we
at
stop
it with
at
one another.
102.15.
So every time that you guys
Okay, that was a tremendous. That whole exchange right there was just tremendous. She's now trying to fight this whole thing about it not being fair, and you could see the detective in the red shirt has switched from more of a good cop to more of a not even bad cop, just a aggressive cop, because now I think he's hit his limit with Sarah too. The female detective, because now keep in mind, now normally, if you're interviewing a victim of, or, well, any victim, the last thing you want to do is be accusatory and specifically ask those role reversal questions. Well, if you had been in the suitcase, and the female detective, notice she didn't start off doing that. She waited, but I mean, okay, if you wanted to play a slightly more realistic version of a drinking game with this, every time she says fair, every time Sarah Boone says the word fair, and you took a drink, well, you probably wouldn't make it very far in this video either. But the female detective picks up on that. So fairness is a huge, huge deal for Sarah. All right, everything needs to be fair. Everything needs to be fair. The blame needs to be fair. So with the detective now putting it back on Sarah, okay, well, would it be fair, for us to arrest George, if you had those wounds? And now she's playing the indignant, well, now you're attacking the victim. Kind of curious how this is going to work out for her. Even Money says it's going to work out about as good as everything else she's tried so far. So pick it up at 102.15.
fight, you both hit each other? So you should have probably
No.
gone to jail all those times that he went to jail
No.
for domestic?
Well, the one time I did. But he completely trashed the police report. Because that's nothing what happened. Because the reason why I got taken in was because my story was different than his. So I'm being portrayed as like this abuser.
We're not saying that he doesn't abuse you.
Absolutely.
We're not saying.
So I'm the one that's being portrayed as the abuser.
Shocking.
Because he
I have never dealt with anything like this before. I don't know what to do, how to do it, and I always know what to do and how to do it. This, I don't know. So I don't know, like, what's going on or, like...
We are simply trying to find out as well. Again, we got
That's
one side of the
obvious.
story.
You don't know what you're
You're
doing.
telling us, we're going with what you're saying, but then we find stuff that negates what you're telling us.
And I don't even remember doing that.
Okay. You're telling us that we're assuming stuff, but what we're simply doing is telling you what we saw in the video and
I
repeating what
understand.
you told us.
I understand. Because I don't remember that.
Okay? Doesn't mean it didn't happen just because you don't remember it.
So is the texting thing something about me? Like, what's...
Is the what? Texting? Oh, no, I'm texting.
No,
You guys are scaring me, so, like, I don't know, like, what to expect. I mean, I had questions of things that...
So 103.50, we'll stop it there. And now she can't remember. Now she's non-compos mentis. Now she doesn't remember. Now there's not one bottle of wine, there's 2 bottles of wine. And she doesn't remember where they were bought or when they were bought. Or now all these details that were crystal clear in sharp focus, y'all, when you start seeing this is that when you start seeing your suspect's statements start to crater, You're going to start seeing that. You're going to start seeing Sarah begin to get more agitated. Sarah also said something I think is really telling. She said, I've never been involved with anything like this before. I don't know what to do, and I always know what to do. Do you really? Do you really always know what to do? Like, you read your Miranda rights for the second time in 24 hours, and you didn't stop to think, maybe I should have an attorney here. But just like a narcissist, I know better. I always know what to do. I'm always in control, you know. And it's laughable that it's almost like she's accusing the officers of making up evidence against her. And just like the red shirt detective said, we're not just pulling this stuff out of the air. It's literally from the evidence that's been collected off of your phone and the words you've said. This is, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. This is going to sound horrible the way I say it. This is what good police work does or looks like. And yeah, the interrogation might look a little messy and a little haphazard, but I mean, that's what happens when human behavior clashes with human behavior. There's nothing to be done about that. But they've done a really good job in knowing the facts of the case, knowing, especially with the autopsy results, knowing what issues they need to ask about because they're trying to figure out what happened. And Sarah's had multiple opportunities to explain her side of the story, and each time she explains, things go from bad to worse. And it has nothing to do with any kind of misconduct or anything on the part of the detectives, but having dealt with people who legitimately have narcissistic personality disorder, I can tell you personal accountability is a foreign concept to them. You might as well ask them to build a spaceship capable of time travel. It is that foreign a concept to them. All right. So pick it up here at 103.50.
Like, I don't.
What are your questions?
I have one last question. You realize you're the person that killed him, right?
I thought about that.
Okay, you left him in a bag when he's begging you, saying, I can't breathe, let me out, and you said, fuck you. And you got up off the couch and went upstairs and left him in that bag.
Not intentionally.
Again,
I would never do that to George.
you did.
Not
It happened.
intentionally. Know that.
Stop it at 104.20. You realize you're the one who killed him. The closest we get to personal accountability is I had thought about that. It's making an admission without making an admission. Never taking full responsibility. Man. I don't know what to say. I mean, she is truly the true crime gift that keeps giving. And it just when you think that nothing she can do, nothing she can say is going to surprise you, she turns around, she does something, and you're just like how do you sit there? How do you believe any of that? And so I can tell the detectives are getting frustrated because I'm sitting here, I'm getting frustrated too. But I'm curious where we're going to go with this from here.
I don't.
Know that.
You got up and you went up to bed.
Alcohol is a shitty thing. It's alcohol.
So So
Not,
alcohol
again-
is the reason that you killed him?
You all,
Please sit down.
listen to me.
There's that behavior, that
You
leaning
all,
forward.
listen. I did not intentionally kill him.
So your intention.
I don't know what it is I need to
punish
do,
him?
or how to do it, or what to say, or how to say it.
But what was your intention? Just to
Everyone
punish
knows.
him?
Everyone knows everything that I've done for George, and love him, and continuously helped him throughout his life with me, and made him a happier.
10511. I did not intentionally kill him. I'm sure there are English teachers out there who are thinking, that's, two negatives become a positive. They cancel each other out. Neurolinguistically, psychologically, they would probably say the same thing. Now, it would be easy to it's easy to point out. It's very hard to prove because, that could have just been blamed on a pause while trying to gather thoughts. But man. Y'all, little piece of advice. When you find yourself in a hole, you can't get out of it by digging up. All right? It does not work that way. Stop digging. All right? Don't go down any further than you already are. So pick it up at 10511.
Better person.
And everybody has their limits.
Everyone knows that.
Everybody has their limits.
So it's like, okay, so while we're in a good place right now, I'm gonna snap? Is that what while we're in a good place right now?
You did.
Yes. Absolutely. I got you on video screaming, "Fuck you."
This is what it feels like when you're choking me. This is what it feels like.
Which was however long ago. You said
The
it.
video was from last night.
Clearly,
So it wasn't
Still
that,
inside yet.
yeah.
there's still feelings towards it. You wouldn't say it if you didn't feel it.
But I would never do that.
But it happened, and you did.
But you
But
did.
that's after being playful
But no one's
and
laughing.
having a good day.
No one's laughing except you.
I would hate to
Everybody's
see
having
a
a good
bad
day. What was that?
I would hate to see a bad day.
Y'all are making me out to be a person that I'm not. Or will I ever be.
Or are you a different person when you're drunk?
People have different personalities after they consume alcohol.
It depends. Well,
Because you're sober now, so sober you.
Nice
Well,
person,
what about drunk
easy
you?
going.
it's both of us. It's both of us. And it's not fair that you all are assuming that the marks that he has on him are from me.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with one thing here. It's a little thing. I was a bartender for 2 years. Okay, and let me explain something. People do not change from drinking alcohol. All right. Alcohol releases inhibitions. So what you're seeing when somebody consumes alcohol is who they are or who they want to be. All right. The truest mirror you will ever see of somebody is that mirror that they hold up when they've been drinking. All right. Now, if they have to stay away from that to keep that person under wraps, bottled up, hidden, or just to keep that version of themselves suppressed, takes a lot of self-awareness. Some people cannot handle drinking, but the whole, if it hadn't been for the alcohol, that doesn't cut any mustard with me. It's a cop out. It's an excuse to have an excuse, and it's not one that I'm buying. I don't even know that the detective really believes it, but I think sometimes when you're interviewing somebody, you got to try and throw them a lifeline. You got to try to if you want to help keep them talk, and that's a big concern after you Mirandize a suspect. Less so if they're narcissistic. But once you Mirandize them, you always have that worry that just as you're going to start getting into kind of the meat and potatoes of your investigation, they're going to lawyer up, which can absolutely happen. Fortunately, unfortunately, depending on your philosophical bent about this case, she has not invoked her rights. But as far as alcohol goes, people are who people are. Alcohol enhances who people are. It's not. And if people need to stay away from alcohol to keep from being that person, great. But it's not a. I've always found that to be an excuse and not a particularly good one. My personal opinion, my personal take on it, for whatever that's worth. So just know that I'm disagreeing with it in theory, but in the way that the detective is using it, like I said, I think it's more of a lifeline than anything else. But personal interjections aside. All right, so let's see. Picking it up at 106.35.
They came from.
I have no idea.
Well, nobody else was there, so nobody else was.
I have no idea. I swear I did not lay a hand on him.
Okay. You just zipped them in the bag.
Nor he.
You just zipped them in the bag. And then you flipped the bag around several times.
I didn't do that intentionally.
You didn't intentionally flip the bag around?
No. Why would I do that?
Well, you
Good
told
question.
him
You
you
did.
did.
When he was upside down.
Right.
Well, you had to put them upside down.
You can't get in a suitcase upside
Yeah.
down because
Oh my
what
gosh.
you put the
See,
stuff
and
in
that's the
is where his
unfortunate.
body was.
That's the unfortunate thing
Was
too,
upside
is
down.
nobody else was there. That's the
We have a
unfortunate
video
thing.
showing the suitcase in several different positions.
We'll get so positive 107.15. That's going to be interesting. I want to hear where that's going to go. But the detective just asked a really good question about kind of the relationship, and stated that you said that there was nobody else in the apartment. Where did these bruises come from? How did he get these bruises if nobody else was there? Okay. Based on what the medical examiner, forensic pathologist, whatever they found, there is a reasonable amount of medical certainty to say how old a bruise or contusion is, how old a scratch or abrasion is, how old, how recent a bone was broken, things like that, within a reasonable amount of certainty. So, is it possible that they fought the night before all of this happened, and this is what happened? Maybe some of y'all have put details in the comments about interviews with the neighbors and some things they heard. I believe that night. So when you put all of this together, her story, it craters. There's nothing to it. But picking it back up at 107.15, I really want to know where the detective's going with this.
Well, it shows, one, like she just said, it had to have been on its back with the lid open for him to get in there, for you to zip it up. Then it shows it on the other side with him in it, so you had to flip it to there. Then there's another video where it's on his back again, so you had to flip it to
I'm
there.
leaving it like this, please. I'm leaving it like this. I did not intentionally do this. No malicious content or effort was towards this. No malicious.
I would
I'm
say,
disappointed
does that
video.
help you sleep? But you're not sleeping, so.
I mean,
Last night, I
The-
maybe got an hour.
Right.
in your voice, you can hear the maliciousness. The fuck you is very, very,
You don't talk to people
Obvious.
like that. That's not like a common
Nope.
hey Scott, fuck you.
Thank you.
That's not common. It's not something people do. And no one that
Content.
sees that is gonna think that.
Okay.
So we were trying to give you an opportunity, and it is what it is.
There's no maliciousness towards that.
So I would
Okay.
probably be telling myself
So
that
108.15. So Sarah Boone in the last part of the interrogation was talking about how she hadn't slept since this whole thing happened, and the female detective throwing that out there. Well, that might help you sleep. Oh wait, but you haven't slept. I mean, just what a dig. Yeah. If it's not painfully obvious, the female detective has given up on this interrogation a while ago, and she's just. I think she's ready. I think she's ready to be done. Realistically, kind of at this point, I mean, they could. I think they've got everything they need to charge her, and uh, maybe if she had cooperated at all, maybe voluntary or involuntary manslaughter might have been on the table. But the problem with thinking that you're the smartest person in the room is eventually you're going to have to actually be the smartest person in the room. And man, she is punching way above her weight class. So pick it up at 108.15.
And my intent was not for that to happen.
But you went upstairs and went to bed. Or maybe you passed out, I don't know. Whichever.
Waiting for him. And the whole time frame thing, it's like,
regardless.
That's not really fair.
Regardless, waiting for him, it's not like you walked up the stairs. You can't fly up the stairs, no one can take you up the stairs.
Okay.
You go up the stairs, you lay in the bed, and you wait for him. Who cares if it's 5 minutes? Who cares if it's 30 freaking seconds? He's begging for his life. He's begging to get out. You go upstairs.
You leave him.
It doesn't matter. So get the time frame out of your mind.
This whole thing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because there's this. So it doesn't matter anything what it is I say. So it makes no difference whatsoever.
It's just you're lying and like you're now changing your
lying
story.
about what?
You're now you were drunk.
Oh, I never said that I was drunk.
Exactly, but you did here today. That's okay.
You said earlier.
Everything recorded.
Alcohol.
You blamed it on the alcohol.
You blamed it on the alcohol. Alcohol does a lot to people.
Yes, but I never said I was drunk.
Okay.
You did.
So you did this sober. You knowingly left him down there sober.
I have already told both of you also that we were both drinking.
Right.
Okay.
But you want to admit that you were drunk? Is that?
I'm telling you all both. This has changed my life. I will take this. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a true statement.
Absolutely.
She's right. She never said that she was drunk.
But what are you? Okay, just.
You left him in there. Trying to dance around the fact you left him in there.
This is not.
You didn't leave him in there?
It's not cool. Like, this is not cool.
It's not cool. He's dead.
But you think that I did that intentionally. You think that I did that intentionally.
You intentionally left him in there and left the room. You went upstairs to a different room.
You intentionally did that.
You did.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking he's going to get out.
Okay, you didn't.
Obviously not.
When somebody's begging, saying, I
but
can't
when you
breathe.
say that, though, but you have to, y'all
Please let me out. I can't
y'all
breathe.
don't know George, though. Like, again, I thought it was the boy crying wolf. So it's just like, what?
Oh, so if your son was in there and said, I can't breathe, are you going to open it, or is he 9, so he's not,
Really?
It's not a big deal. I'm just valid question.
Well, you said you would never put your son in a suitcase. You would only put George in there.
No, George got in a suitcase.
And you zipped it up.
Not all the way and not intentionally to leave him there.
But that's what happened.
Uh-huh.
You keep going away from it.
I don't know.
That's exactly what happened. You went up to the bed and woke up the next day.
Are you all trying to have me admit that? Like, are you trying to have me admit that? Because I will never admit it because it's not true. It's not true.
I'm basically stating as a fact because that's what happened.
Okay.
You videotaped him asking to be let out. You go upstairs.
So what, guys? So what? Like, just, I don't know what you want me to say other than it was not out of maliciousness or intentional. I don't know what or how I can say it. I love George. Love him. To this day still.
stop at 1 hour 12. Yeah, I mean, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here. All right, she's been through. She's working on getting her ninth attorney. She's paid for one, and 7 have been appointed by the court, and have all met the same disastrous end. What Sarah cannot wrap her mind around is the fact that her physical actions prove an intent, whether she's conscious of that or not. The intent, whether she thought he was going to get out, be able to get out, whatever. The fact that she made no effort to check on him, went upstairs and went to bed. Now, whether she passed out, what have you, all of these things could have been very easily explained if she'd have sat there and, even at midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock, had gotten up and said, hey, something's wrong, I'm just going to go check, and then immediately called 911. This would not be, none of this stuff would be the issue that it is right now. This is a perfect example. I talked in one of the videos about my wife and I watching like a thriller or mystery or something on TV, and I just sit there and I just shake my head, and I'm just like, this whole thing would have been over in 15 minutes if somebody had just called the cops and said, hey, this is what happened. Because the sooner you contact the law enforcement, yeah, you might still get in some trouble over it, but when you show that you tried to be a compassionate person and you tried to help right or wrong, people can understand that. People understand making mistakes. That doesn't mean you don't pay for those mistakes. But I think Sarah has a poor understanding of mens rea, which is the guilty mind. Okay. And in order for a crime to be committed, you have to have the mens rea, the guilty mind, and you have to have the actus reus, the illegal act, okay, or the harmful act. And those two have to exist in concert in order for a crime to be committed. But in her mind, she hasn't intentionally done anything because she hasn't come out and said, this is what I wanted to do, this is what I was trying to do. And this kind of goes towards where we are with the lawyers. She's sitting here and she's like, she's attempting to get another lawyer. I think she's trying to hire this one, but she's chastised the judge in her case for basically depriving her of legal counsel, which is completely not true. But she can't seem to understand that whether it's by action or inaction, you are still choosing to do something intentional. You chose to go upstairs knowing that he was in the suitcase. The fact that you failed to take the necessary precautions to make sure that he was still okay is in fact intent. And so, but if you want to know why she's been through 8 attorneys so far, this right here, this whole thing right here, it is why she's in the position that she's in. Goodness sakes. All right, so we'll pick it up at 1 hour, 12 minutes.
It's not one of those things where it's like, oh gosh, you know what, I've done enough for you at this point. I never gave up on him.
Okay.
Why I'm here today, I'm still not giving up on him. I would do anything for him.
Well, you gave up checking up on him. So.
I wouldn't let him out of a suitcase.
Oh gosh. Okay.
We're simply just trying to go through, I mean, again, you gave us a completely different story that you churched up to. This was such a
Love makes you do
matter.
crazy
It was
things.
fun.
Not by that
All
video.
day, all
Not by
day.
that video. That
All
part
day.
wasn't. Anybody looking at it doesn't. I don't think anybody
So-
would look at that video and go, "George is having fun right now."
So why is it you all think that y'all don't know me, you don't know me,
Nope.
would do something like that, especially having a 9-year-old son?
I don't know. what
Like,
having
why-
a 9-year-old son would be.
Like,
Why are you so like caught on what we think
Yeah.
when
because
you should be
it's
more
like
concerned about what you've told us?
It's because
and
like you guys
The
are
fact
like
that George
trying,
is dead.
The things that the video shows that are opposite of what you told us, and then what you've now
like
told
what
us
is
here
opposite?
today. Well, you said that it was funny, and you're the only one laughing.
We were playing before that.
Okay.
But then it stops.
Yeah.
It obviously stops being fun.
Well,
Because you're screaming at him, he's
I'm
begging
not
to get
screaming
out.
at him.
Sounds like screaming at me.
I don't know what you all want me to tell you.
That's
In
That's a
no
great
way,
question
shape, or
right there.
form was his intention.
stop it at 113.40. That's a great question right there. Why are you so caught up on what you think? Because I'm a narcissist, and because when narcissists are seen for who they really are, it causes conflict. Ask me how I know. I dare you. But when a narcissist can't pull the wool over somebody's eyes anymore, it creates conflict. And the fact that she can't get these detectives to see her as this wonderful, caring, nurturing mother who'd never hurt anybody, it irritates her. And you could see how irritated she gets. She almost looks like a couple of times she's gotten ready just to get up and walk completely out the door. And man, this is crazy. So pick it up at 113.40.
At all. Ever.
Okay. Are you still going to allow us to do your fingernails?
Go for it.
Go for it. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get that set up.
Notice there's no mirroring language. She's not mirroring the body language of the other
When you come back,
detectives.
can I ask about this?
Yeah.
So what?
Just don't understand.
So
The truth.
I don't
I
understand
mean,
how your story changes so much to the
start
fact
there.
It's changing. Please help me explain, understand.
You went on about how this was such a playful thing and you guys were laughing, and it probably was for a few minutes. But then
Oh yeah, somebody mentioned that I needed to pay
the whole
attention.
demeanor of this whole situation
Let's watch Sarah's hands.
completely changes. It's not the funny,
Why this wasn't done.
laughing matter. He's not laughing at all.
I didn't think he was being serious.
You absolutely sound serious.
Like, you can
I didn't
ask.
think so. Like, just,
You don't think your voice, you sounded serious?
it's, okay. I don't know what you want me to tell you. It was a great day.
Okay.
It didn't end well, obviously.
I was going to say, that's, I mean...
I can't explain to you. I can't explain to you how horrific it was
Okay.
to find him. Horrific. Because I don't remember taking those videos.
Okay.
How horrific. I'm thinking he's in the bathroom. I'm thinking he's downstairs in the laptop. I can't find him. So what's going to happen? Like,
Here's what gets me, though, is you don't remember taking videos, you don't know where he is, you don't remember him being in the suitcase, and
Understatement
you're
of the
still telling me
century.
that you had your wits about you.
I
How does
said
someone
that
have their
too.
wits about them when...
See, that's the
They
thing
have all
too.
this
But
stuff.
you can clearly tell that I had been drinking some. You can clearly tell.
I don't remember
had
taking the
several
videos.
people that came up to me in that apartment complex said that you were drunk on a daily basis.
Oh
and you were
my
screaming at
gosh.
him
Right,
regularly.
right.
Really?
Right. Talk to the property
Really?
manager. Talk to the property manager.
Okay.
Because it's not,
These are your neighbors, the one that live next to you. Your property manager does not live next to you. They see you every day. How
Oh
many,
my
you had two neighbors you went
gosh.
to and asked to go
See,
use
that
the
is
restroom.
not
You said no.
fair.
Hold on.
Or statement.
You had two different neighbors that lived directly next to you. You asked to use the restroom and they told you no and turned you away. You had to go
Oh.
across the way to somebody else.
no, okay. Kim and Eli Kim is not a nice person.
Okay.
She's just automatically not nice. Even after me and Lucas went over there and introduced ourselves, she's just not a nice person.
Then why would you think she would let you use a restroom?
Because Eli was in there. Eli comes over and talks to us sometimes, which I think pisses Kim off because he comes over and talks to us. The two of them, they're like super standoffish.
Stop it at 116.45. That is a common thing, not just with narcissists. Although narcissists are famous for picking and choosing who their character witnesses are. Oh, you can have this person talk to this person because they'll vouch for me. Yeah, because they're completely snowed by you. That's why. And I love how the detective is just very matter of fact, very, we've talked to your neighbors. No, we're not going to talk to the property manager. The property manager doesn't live next to you. But this is the first time in the video that we see her confronted about her alcohol use. And according to her neighbors, it's an ongoing thing. So we'll pick it up 116.45.
My neighbors down the street, down the way, their toilet was broken. They had stuff in the bathroom. So then they're like, go over there and try over there.
There's 2 bathrooms.
I wouldn't let somebody go upstairs and use my personal bathroom. That's what the downstairs one is for.
If it's somebody you like, would you? Or somebody you knew?
They're in the process of doing all this stuff in the kitchen. And there's stuff in the bathroom and the toilet doesn't work. Just walk across the way. No problem. And of course they let me in. Them and them, they're together. They're families. And nonetheless, if you really want to know, and I hope it doesn't get them in trouble, but he is over here illegally. So he's trying to work on getting his green card.
What does that got to do with you using the restroom?
They didn't want to be involved.
Should I use yours? You gotta use yours.
No, I was asking last night because, we had several different people in the neighborhood come up saying
Eli
that
and
she
Kim.
was drunk on a regular basis.
Eli and Kim. Okay. Did you ask Vinny next door?
Those are the ones next door that she asked to use the restroom, and they said no.
No, she said no.
Okay.
And like I said, she's not a nice person.
They're coming. What are your questions?
Yep.
I can help you with.
Who's coming?
To do the fingernails.
Yeah, you said that we could.
There it is. There it is. If you think I'm bad, you have no idea about this person over here.
Okay. Just make sure.
So, am I getting my phone back?
No.
Not today.
What about Lucas's laptop?
No.
Not today.
Not today.
What does that mean?
We're still going through everything.
Oh, that's fine.
You're the one just telling us there's videos that we need to see on it, so we need
That's
to do
fine.
our due diligence that we go through everything.
See, and that backfires on me now, too, because now you all think that I had even more, in quotes, intent to do what I did to him, which was not intentional.
What's that?
In that. Is that correct?
She's asking about your tag in your hand.
No, but I'm asking if that's correct.
No, I'm not going to
I'm not
agree to
making
anything that you're saying. I'm not, that you're...
So, his probation officer,
Mm-hmm.
do you all inform her, or do I need to call her?
We don't have to inform her, so if you would like to call her, you can. Are you saying because he's still on probation?
No, but because of the nice lady that she is, and all that she's done for him, I didn't know how it was.
Legally, we just have to tell his parents, and we don't go telling.
Everybody else?
I didn't even know who his probation officer was, so no, I wouldn't go tell
So
him.
the same thing for classes. I need to do that too.
Classes.
His
To do what?
substance abuse class and his battery
cancel them?
intervention.
Yeah, we
Something
don't
else I
have
was
to
just
call
getting ready to
him.
ask. So, other than this, so initially, what was the cause of death?
She is still pending because she wants to hold the body for an additional day to see if more of those bruises turn into something bigger. And she's doing some other tests that she's got to do. So she's pending it for now.
So, and that couldn't have been because of him being in the suitcase? Or y'all are saying that I physically did it?
That's what she's determining.
So,
The ones on the head,
That's so
I asked
weird
her
that she's focused on that.
The suitcase, and she said she didn't think so.
I didn't touch him, nor did he touch me.
Okay.
I'm leaving it at that.
Okay.
So I don't know if you all know how to do this, because so that's what I was gonna get ready to ask you. So are you all updating his parents today, or when you get the final whatevers?
What does it matter what we tell his parents? What do you mean?
Because
We're gonna talk with them.
Yeah.
okay,
I have to
but it's gonna
like,
come down to me.
What do you mean?
Like, so it's being put on me.
Who said that?
But I'm not, so what is it you would tell them?
We're gonna give them an update, just like we gave you an update on their autopsy.
Okay, so it's whatever
Well,
bruise, scratch, and
here's the thing.
whatever on the head.
We had to deliver news to them last night that their son was dead. There's not a whole lot of conversation that goes on after that. It's not a very easy thing to do.
Was it yesterday or Sunday? Sunday. Today's Tuesday, right?
Did we not meet you yesterday? We met you yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Right? Did we not meet yesterday?
It's a valid question.
Really? Yes, on Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Perfect.
So I don't know if I ask you guys or how I find this out other than talking to his parents, which is not gonna happen.
Yeah, probably a terrible idea.
How do you guys suggest me finding out about funeral?
She's having trouble
That's
keeping
not
the
even
day
something
straight.
That's been probably talked about between the family. That's not something we ask. We have no way of.
I didn't know, that's why I'm asking.
It's
So,
gonna be up to them to make the arrangements of what they want to do. Like, she just told you this quick, just being told last night, I'll pretty much be willing to wager that they have not even considered what they're gonna do.
His body can't even be released,
No.
so.
I've been there with parents, grandparents, aunt and uncles. So, I don't know if I have the right to or not, but like I was gonna call his former employees whom he really cared for and let them know.
You can call whoever you want.
I just don't want to do something that I'm not supposed to. How do I go about getting his wedding ring, engagement ring?
It's at the medical examiner's office. It'll come to us eventually, and then
It'll be released
Yeah.
to the next of kin.
Yeah. Okay.
I bought it for him.
Okay.
That is a civil issue. It was on his finger, it goes to them, they're the ones that are gonna release it, we don't have any say in that.
So I won't get that back. So for all of this, like, how do I find out what's what and how many, like, what's been found?
What do you mean?
Pillow with stain, swabs of stain from pillow, suitcase.
That will all be sent off to
FDLE?
FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
Yeah.
They do their testing.
So, and then like whatever white can with blood and necktie with blood was from the suitcase.
Correct.
Why would you guys, you'll see it in there, the baseball bat for Lucas and the speeds. And this is just his phone, my phone, and then the laptop.
Yeah, when anything can be released, we will release it, but we are very early in this investigation, and it's not an overnight process, unfortunately.
So, what's next?
They're gonna come and swab your fingers.
No, I'm talking about like in the long run. Like, what do I need to like? Do I need to be doing something or like?
I can't tell you like what to do.
I mean, like, so like for, like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know if you guys are just gonna like, because it makes it sound like to me like I'm being accused of something that was not intentional. I'm being accused of it, and a handful of other things that I'm being accused of.
Okay.
So I don't want to be at home with Lucas and you guys show up.
Okay.
I understand that.
So,
We're still investigating. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
so is there going to be concrete whatever it is, and then it's like, okay, this is what it is, kind of thing?
I'll stop it at 125.27. What she's asking is, am I going to jail? And and I don't know what's keeping why the officers aren't just telling her that she's going to jail. It's not really anything wrong with what they're doing, but and it could just be that they're just trying to raise the level of agitation, trying to get her to make what they call a red gesti statement, an excited utterance, something that'll give them more evidence against her, and upping the level of frustration, of anxiety, of stress on somebody, especially somebody who appears to have narcissistic personality, would definitely be a good way to go about that. So pick it up at 125.27.
Because I've done the whole court thing. I've done the whole attorney thing. I've done whatever. So if I'm not admitting anything about being intentional and I killed George.
So this whole thing is just circled. We just keep coming back to the same points that
that's not
get ignored.
The situation, but it's trying to be pinned on me.
So she knows. She knows she's getting arrested. She knows.
But it's trying to be pinned on me. So however or whatever it is I need to do in order for that to be proven, then I need to do so, which is why I'm trying to get my ducks in a row.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking what the next step is other than me getting my nails swabbed.
I mean, you want me to tell you how to not be accused of a crime? Is that what you're asking? Like, I don't know what you want.
I'm trying to prepare myself for whatever may need to be done so I can, I guess,
wouldn't-
stick up for myself.
I mean, I think you're doing just fine. You came, you talked.
I just don't want you guys to, again, show up and Lucas is in the house.
Well, we did tell you yesterday that we don't want to do anything around your son, hence why you came to us. So I don't know why you think that's going to change.
That and or me not just show up back home.
I'm sorry, what? That or what?
Me just not show up back home. That's what, he's so happy that I'm going to the house with Brian. Like, so happy. And I'm not going back to the house, to my house, for however long I can stay over here because of whatever to blow over.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you don't mind me asking, so for whatever it is you all are claiming from the videos, which, yeah, is that what you're going to tell them, like his parents? Like, oh yeah, and by the way, she did.
Did what?
I mean, what would you tell him?
I don't think it really matters what we're going to tell the parents.
Oh yeah, it is, it's fuel to the fire.
Well, we can't hide things, and I don't know, I'm not saying we're going to go, I'm not saying that we're going to go and tell them every single thing we have, but again, this is the Orange County Sheriff's Office, that's public record, so eventually, like, this all will come out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm not,
Matters,
you're making it sound like we're going to tell them something, so then your life is in danger, and I don't like that accusation.
No.
So let's just nip that in the butt right now.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
I cannot
What are we going to tell them?
But we can't even, so technically there's no concrete report yet, even.
Right, so
it's,
you want me to, like, tell you exactly what I'm going to tell them. I don't know what I'm going to tell them. I don't know what I'm going to tell them. Let's just leave it at that. Just like you don't know why you went upstairs. I don't know what I'm going to tell them.
So,
Parents that are dealing with
can I call you the way that I did last time?
Yeah, my phone is an open line. Missy should be here. I don't know what's taking so long.
It's coming out for looking.
I get it. Look, I get it. That looks really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what scares me. Like, what do I need to plan on? Like, what do I need to plan on? I promise you, on my son's life, it was not intentional. I promise you, on Lucas's life, it was not intentional.
I don't know you. I can't say I know anything about you. I don't know what would be a true statement.
She's
over
done.
that. I mean,
She's
if you're
over it.
promising on your son's life, that's fine.
That's how much it means.
Sorry.
That's how much it, look, that's how much it means.
Okay.
I hope you take that to heart. Please.
And it's
Oh, Lord.
that you said that, yeah. I get it.
Do you have
Okay.
any idea when I can get my phone?
Changing cadence of the speech. I promise you, it was not intentional. Now we've got the leaning forward, the unsolicited promises of honesty. If you followed any of my serial killer Saturdays, and I haven't done one of those in a while, but if you're ever confronted with a stranger who gives you an unsolicited promise of ensuring your safety, ensuring that they just want to be a good person, what have you, even after you've expressed reservations and told them they can be on their way, you're dealing with a predator, all right? And I swear on my son's life, I swear on my stack of Bibles, all of these things, these unsolicited promises of honesty, essentially just a dead giveaway that you've got the right person. So we'll pick it up here at 1:30:06.
Back.
No telling.
What do you say?
I just said no telling. I mean, our digital forensics unit is, got a lot of cases on their plate. I mean.
Well, and that's not
Just
technically
as
my
long.
laptop, it's Lucas's laptop.
Okay.
But he plays, you'll see all the games that he has on there.
As soon as we can get that back to Lucas, we will. As soon as we can release your phone, we will. But we have no way of being able to tell you because we don't have control over their caseload and how they.
I'll bet she is going to document that she said that.
Honestly, with everything else that's going on, that should probably be at the bottom of your list of worries.
I'm trying to make Lucas happy so he can have his laptop back.
Okay.
Did Brian not have a laptop for him?
He has his laptop that he has to do for work, that he doesn't want him using it or breaking or dropping. It's not a big deal. There's nothing on the laptop anyway.
Now we're getting to it.
So you will keep me posted, like updated.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing, is I'm trying to figure out what I need to do in the meantime.
I don't know. I can't, I don't know what to tell you, though. What?
But you all have more information than I do, where it's like, yeah, you might want to, or yeah, you might want to.
I'm sorry, what?
That's an interesting statement right there. 1:31:58. It's not a big deal. There's nothing on the laptop anyway. And then there was a change in her body language and her posture. So is there really nothing on the laptop, and she's displaying confidence and a little bit of defiance, or is she just trying to, like she's been doing for the last over hour and a half, trying to get the detectives to see her in a certain way? Either way, given what we know up to this point, man, it just goes from bad to worse with her. So we'll pick it up 1:31:58.
Everything that we have, you know everything that we know. And most of it we got from you.
But that, like I was telling her, yeah, that's bad. Which I swore in my son's life was not intentional. So that's why I'm trying to figure out what I need to do for myself
Okay.
going forward with this, nonetheless, with his family. And are you all just showing up with Lucas in the house?
I think we've already both told you that we would be mindful of any situations.
That gets me.
So do you guys, I guess you're gonna call me tomorrow? Or do we need to come back down here?
I'll chat with you next time. I have no idea when I'm gonna call you next.
Isn't the report coming out tomorrow?
Our report.
I'm just saying a report is generated through us, and
So this is a
public entity. So if someone
so this is a common thing. We'll stop it here at 133.21. This is a very common thing for offenders to do when they realize that they've kind of backed themselves into a corner. They're trying to get the officers to say, well, you should probably talk to an attorney. But these detectives have enough wherewithal about them to know that until they're ready to take whatever the next step is going to be, they can't just, they don't want to advise her. Again, they've already advised her of what her Miranda warnings, her constitutional warnings. She could have invoked it at any time. She could have quit talking. Another thing that's difficult for a narcissist to do, accept help from qualified legal counsel. Another thing difficult for narcissists to do. And so now this is somebody, this falls right into line with that narcissistic personality type. The whole, I always know what to do. And she spent the last 10, 15 minutes trying to get the detectives to tell her what she needs to do. And the detectives know. They know exactly what she's hoping they're going to say. And they're not giving her an inch, and I think that's fantastic. So we'll pick it up here at 133.21.
Talking about his autopsy.
She's waiting and doing more follow-up, but
She's looking at him again,
yeah.
but she won't be finished with him because she's pending further stuff.
So I'm going to skip forward here, and I'm going to see
So after this, what?
where we get to.
I'm done? For now?
Okay, so here's the tech.
Okay, that was there yesterday. I think she took your photos.
Now, one of y'all mentioned in your comments, stop it there, 14109, that as the forensic tech is doing the fingernail scraping, Sarah does something with her hand. So I want to see if we can catch that and see if I see what y'all did. I've been watching since they told her that she was going to do the scraping to see if she did anything with her hands, but I didn't see anything. Anything that set off any red flags.
So I'm just going to take a swab and go around on one hand and then do a separate one for your other hand. Okay? Right hand.
Okay, it does look like she's kind of hiding that hand. She's kind of curled her fingertips a little bit on the left hand. So that's not a, I guess it's hard to tell. Can't tell if she's scraping or if she's scraping into an envelope or if she's just swabbing. It looks like, yeah, it does look like she's scraping. I'll be honest, I can't tell what she's doing, because usually when you do a scraping, you have your suspect lay their hands down on a clean piece of paper and you go under the nails. I'll be honest, just the angle, the low resolution on the camera, it's hard for me to tell, but ideally cameras should be set up in an interrogation room like this, where colors aren't going to be washed out and you can get as true an idea of what's going on in there. Because if a defense attorney can look at that and not be able to determine what's happening, you can use that to kind of muddy the waters. The procedure wasn't followed, one thing or another. Kind of curious what's in that Mary Poppins CSI bag that she's got right there. Just pulling out all kinds of good stuff from there. That's interesting, because that's the first time I've seen her with her arm over like that. It's a self-comforting gesture. And she hasn't done that a whole lot. I think that's specifically the first time I saw that, but it does seem interesting that specifically with the left hand, she's very concerned about what may or may not be found, and which she shouldn't be worried about. She's already admitted that she scratched George while they were having sex, so I'm not really sure why all of a sudden she's worried about it. Goes a lot quicker on TV, doesn't it? I'll tell you all, the cool thing about forensics isn't the collecting forensics. It's knowing how to document how you collected everything and making sure you followed the procedures and being able to testify to that, because that is what makes or breaks your forensic evidence right there. Just because you have forensic evidence, if it was collected poorly or, not by best practices or outside of policy and procedure. It's garbage. And so forensics will make or break your case, just in a different way than I think a lot of people realize.
Okay, I'm done with all these. Okay, Sarah.
A self-comforting gesture again.
So, you're not free to go. Okay. Oh, do you promise everything you told us was the truth? Or no? Everything we've talked about today?
Yes. What do you mean?
He asked to swear. Remember how I swore you yesterday on the audio recording? I just forgot, so he raised his hand to remind me, to tell you.
Okay.
Do you promise and swear that everything we talked about today has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
For which
True
everything?
and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
What, that it wasn't intentional?
Everything you've said
Everything you
today,
told us.
everything that's come out of your mouth has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
To the best of my knowledge.
Correct. Yes.
Why?
That's
Because
how
anytime
you
we talk
swear.
to somebody, we want to assure that everything that we've talked about is,
True and accurate to the best of that person's knowledge.
it's not a trick question,
To the best of my knowledge?
to the best of your knowledge.
Everything that you've told us today is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, but it was not
Now remember,
intentional.
she already swore on her son that everything she said, she's promised that this was the truth. It wasn't intentional.
Do me a favor, stand up. I need you to turn around, face the wall, put your hands behind your back. Do you have anything in your pockets that I should know about?
No.
Okay.
Why is this happening?
Because George is dead.
Not intentionally.
We understand.
He's still dead.
Someone needs to call Brian, please.
Okay.
Or can I not make a phone call?
You'll be able to make a phone call when we get you down to the jail.
So
You'll
why
be
is this
afforded-
happening? So this was a trick.
No, it's not
No,
a trick.
not
How's
a
it a trick?
So,
I'm in here to ask you to explain a few things to us, and
You were read your rights.
your response to everything was basically, I didn't do it.
intentionally.
I have to go through that.
Doesn't matter. You're still there.
Right there. It's not that she didn't do it. She didn't do it intentionally.
Really, guys?
Really.
So if I didn't show up. Why is this happening?
Stop it right there at 150-28. So if I didn't show up, if I hadn't shown up, and the detective's like, I don't know what to tell you. You did show up. We're way past you not showing up. It's a little late to be playing the what if game. Hey, that's the problem. You sit there thinking you're too smart for your own good, and man, that came back, that bit her hard. Let's pick it back up, 150-28.
When
That I was done with this after that.
we were done, yes, we were done. Absolutely.
So now, so that's what it is.
We are done.
Yeah, they're done. They've been done for about 50 minutes, to be fair.
Not intentional.
Okay.
So what am I supposed to do now?
You will,
Someone needs to call Brian.
okay.
Lucas is waiting for Mom to come home. This was not my intention. I thought I was waiting for you all to come and figure out what's what and how many.
That's what we're trying to do.
And I was going to be able to go home and see Lucas. Now he's just not going to have me come home. So there's nothing that I can do.
All right, no.
There's nothing that I can do in order to go home and see Lucas and prepare.
Detectives I've been very careful about
You'll be afforded.
not giving her legal advice.
Afforded an attorney. You'll be afforded a chance to talk to a judge, and all that stuff will be worked out.
But what's the time frame for that, though?
I have no way of being able to tell you. You should make first appearance probably by tomorrow morning, if not tonight, depending how things are busy, how quickly you get down there.
I had
I
a
don't
sneaking
work in
suspicion
there.
this was going to happen. And I need water, like, really bad, please.
Have a seat.
You all check me down here.
You're not really in a position to make demands.
I just got those.
Okay. They are not allowed in the jail.
So I can't even smoke cigarettes as I go.
I was just about to say, I bet that's cigarettes. Yeah.
And what am I supposed to do with my car?
So you find where it is. When you get down there, you'll have 3 phones. You'll be able to call.
What, as soon as possible?
Yeah, once you get down there and get booked in, you'll be able to use a phone in the waiting
Or
area.
how long will that take? Because I need to talk to Brian.
You know, it depends how busy, how quickly they get you through. I would say within the hour. It's a free phone call in the lobby. It's a free phone call.
All I'm doing is bringing you there, sign the paper, and you're going to do it.
She has no clue.
So can I ask you, or whoever it is, those holding cells, am I going to be put in one of those?
I don't know.
Last time I had a panic attack.
Okay.
Let them know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you're familiar with the big bay. As long as you go in and you act civil to them, they'll set you in the big bay. And you'll be left there for
Can
a
you
while.
request that while I'm there?
No, that's not up to us. We don't work at the jail.
As long as like he's saying, is if you don't
If
act
you
up.
go in and act like this, you'll go in and they'll put you in the big bay. If you go in there screaming and kicking and yelling and
Why would
cursing
I
at
do
people,
that?
I don't know. I'm just letting you know that's what happens. That's how they weed people out. If you go in acting like this,
So I asked for the big bay?
no, they'll put you there as long as you're acting like this.
Yeah, because the last time I had a major panic attack on those little things.
Let them know.
Yep.
Change the cuffs.
Go ahead, stand up.
I have not
So
found
what am I going to do with my
Thanks,
purse? Oh, sorry.
Your purse is going to come, but the cigarettes and stuff can't, so.
I put the mark out too.
Oh, no, it's all good. Mine are now opposite, so.
You're being arrested for murder. Cigarettes would seem to be. I'm not a smoker, so cigarettes would seem like a
George is dead.
kind of a lesser issue, but
Because I knew this was going to happen.
You did?
that's just me.
So I came
Well,
down
we
here
gave-
willingly.
Yes, absolutely.
She just said, I came down here willingly. That's perfect.
Unintentionally.
Stop at 154.24. I came down here willingly. I tried to be a good person. I tried to do all this to help you out, and this is how you repay me. Well, I mean, if an officer reads you your Miranda rights twice in 24 hours, that might be a clue, a little one, that maybe getting an attorney on the phone might be a good idea.
All right, George is dead.
I don't know. That's just not giving legal advice, but
You act like when you
that would just seem to be
I need to get,
Uh,
I have my...
apropos to the situation.
Able to be
Sorry,
on.
we'll finish this up right quick.
I have things in my car that I need to...
Put your.
What kind of stuff do you have in your car that you're worried about?
Well, I have my medication.
Okay, they have a pharmacy there, so if there's something that you have to have right away, you'll be seeing a nurse.
It's panic attack stuff.
Well, again, when you get checked in, you're going to be seeing a
Can I
nurse,
turn around now?
and that they have a pharmacy there, so they'll be able to take care of any kind of that stuff. That protocol is out of my realm. I don't work down there, so I don't know, but I do know they do have a pharmacy, and that you will be afforded to see somebody. Okay?
All done?
Yes, ma'am. Let's say no. My bad.
Chewing gum in uniform. Oh, I can't stand it. Not a good look. Especially, you know. All right, so that wraps up the interrogation of Sarah Boone, and wow, that was horrible. It really was. And like I said, I've talked about it before. I don't know what the issue was with other commentators, other content creators being down about being down on the detectives for how they went about things, but I still maintain that they did a good job. So I'm gonna share this with you. So this is the advertisement. Of course, Sarah Boone. Let me backtrack just a hair. So over the course of this happened in 2020, 2021, somewhere around there. 2020, I think. And for all that time, we've gone through 8 attorneys, about 2 a year, and some of them have lasted weeks. And by the legal finding, the ruling that the judge made is that she's been afforded every opportunity to either secure her own counsel if she wasn't happy with the counsel that was provided to her at taxpayer expense. And the one attorney she did hire, she ended up firing. And she has been incredibly critical of her attorneys. Now, we're watching that interrogation footage, so we can only just imagine how the conversation has gone with the attorneys. So, with some back and forth, Sarah Boone wrote like a 58-page manifesto, for lack of a better word, describing all these injustices that have been done to her by her attorneys, by the judge denying her different rights, different privileges. A couple of things that pop up, legitimate issues, is not knowing what evidence is going to be used against her. She does have a right to review that evidence, and she does have a right to have materials made available to her, like a laptop, to be able to see that. Problem is, you have to cooperate with your attorneys if you want that to happen. There's a lot of things going on there, and I'll be 100% honest with you. We're kind of getting out of my comfort zone as far as me being able to offer any kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, a concrete analysis, because now we're getting into the legal realm, which I'm not trying to do just yet. However, based on the judge's ruling, which is really well written and really well documented, Sarah Boone has had just about every opportunity you can imagine, as far as attorneys being appointed to her, as far as being able to retain her own attorney. And the judge has been criticized pretty heavily for allowing this to drag on. But in reading the judge's ruling, it seems like he's gone above and beyond, giving Sarah an opportunity to find counsel that she feels comfortable with so that this whole thing can proceed. Because the last thing a trial judge wants is his ruling to be overturned on appeal because he unintentionally violated a defendant's rights. Okay, that's not what the judge is hoping for. Now, I was having a conversation with somebody about this, and this puts the judge in an interesting place, because the judge is supposed to be a friend of the prosecutor and judge evidence and testimony in favor that's most beneficial to the prosecution, to a point. The issue now becomes the judge will have to be a legal/constitutional safeguard in watching over Sarah Boone if she does have to proceed pro se, that is, without an attorney, by herself, and represent herself. And that can be a hindrance, and that can create its own set of complications, as far as, because she never explicitly said that she wanted to represent herself. Now, even though there is case law, there is precedent about how a person's behavior constitutes a direct refusal, there's a lot of interesting things happening. Well, now Now Sarah has created her own ad, and she has asked the judge to post this in the break room of the courthouse in order to, let's see, I'm trying to, she's crafted her own, I believe she wants it posted in the courthouse. But this is what it reads. Inmate seeks attorney. Inmate and attorney, emphasis in bold writing. Looks like she put a lot of effort into this. Looking for a prosperous challenge. Ready for your close-up on national television? Are you zealous with a side of keen? Show the world who you are with your original creativity, extraordinary expertise, confident ingenuity. Be comfortable lying your backside off to get me out of these charges. Being trustworthy, honest, passion-driven, okay? All attorneys should be that way. Open-minded. Now, I've said for a while that her biggest problem is that she chooses not to listen. And whenever she's confronted with something, she never directly disputes it, but it's not her fault either because it's not intentional. All right. And I think that just like with the detectives, that back and forth about, if it's not intentional, I didn't do anything wrong. I think that's the argument that kind of blew up between the attorneys and Sarah Boone. The fact that she doesn't have enough legal knowledge to know that what she's trying to do can get her in a lot of trouble, potentially get the attorney disbarred. There's a lot of things I don't think she realizes, but she has this idea that because she's the client, that the attorneys need to bow to her. Well, the clients the attorneys are there to represent her interest, but if she wants to take the defense in a direction that either puts her in jeopardy of committing perjury or would not be helpful, like maybe she's stating that she wants to get on the stand. She wants to look the jury in the eye and tell them this wasn't intentional. Yes, all these things happened, but it wasn't intentional. And she gives the same testimony that she gave during the interrogation. It's not in her best interest. And I don't think there's a way to really disabuse her of that notion. And I think one of the last attorneys pretty much hit the nail on the head, because a quote from him was, Sarah Boone believes that she is the only person qualified to provide her defense. She's refusing legal advice. She's combative with her own attorneys. And basically she's just doing everything possible to get herself convicted, because in her mind, she's already convinced herself she didn't do anything wrong. But the list goes on. Exceptional problem-solving skills. You'd have to be a wizard to make all the problems that her defense has completely go away. O.J. Simpson's dream team could do nothing with this case. Client inclusion at all times, team orientation, collaboration. HR buzzwords that just give you the ick. Extreme efficiency in listening, communication, understanding. Did I not just say that she wants to get her point across? Capability of excellence and representation, committed. You'd almost have to be to take this case without being appointed to it at this point. So unbelievable. So she's, and we'll see what fruit this bears. But let's talk about a couple of things that I can speak to with reasonable certainty. I said earlier in the video that she probably could have had a chance at intoxication manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, voluntary manslaughter, if she had helped herself and cooperated. She didn't want to do that. And her indifference to the semantics of, yes, I did this, but it wasn't intentional, regardless, the outcome was the same. And this behavior going forward makes you look like this was in fact intentional. Now, I have seen in a couple of news articles and some pundits talking about what Sarah Boone's defense might look like. And of course, it's come back to the battered woman defense, which is a very powerful defense, and rightfully so. The battered woman defense basically revolves around a period of domestic abuse, systemic abuse, neglect, where nothing that the woman ever does is good enough. She's beaten, she's humiliated, she's deprived, she's isolated, she's all these things. And one day, she has enough and decides before her attacker can come at her again, she's going to make sure her attacker can never come at her again. There's a great episode of Criminal Minds that shows the battered woman defense, and a prosecutor is asking Hotch and Rossi to decide if this woman truly has battered woman syndrome, or if it's all just an act of ploy to get out of charges. And the way the story unfolds is actually based on a real case and actually follows it fairly accurately. And so ideally that's probably her only defense. The problem is she never said that she was afraid. Her story continues to change about whether she had her wits about her, how much alcohol she had consumed, one thing or another. And the big thing that it comes down to, as with any self-defense case, is a lack of fear. Never once in 2 hours of the interview, the interrogation, did she ever say that she was afraid of George. She's afraid of his family. She never said that she was afraid of George. And having that fear is a key component to that defense. And we didn't see any of that. So, y'all, that's the very long and the long of the Sarah Boone case. So I hope you found it enjoyable. I hope my take on this case was maybe helpful for you, and kind of whenever I do an analysis like this, just like I did with the attempted assassination of former President Trump, I try to kick out all the background noise, all the fantastic elements of it, and I just try to break it down to what's actually there. No other outside information. Just break it down to its nuts and bolts. And so I hope this kind of helps you kind of look at this in a more clear, more focused perspective. So I do have a couple of requests from other viewers coming up, and one of those is going to be about two individuals who broke into a restaurant at closing time and killed the employees. And going to take a look into that. I don't have a whole lot of background information about that, so that's coming up. And another one, I'm actually, I don't know how y'all feel about this, but doing a live chat and discussing, it's about the Karen Reed case. And I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning of the Karen Reed case because that's one that I am so far removed from. And with everything that's happened and all the ups and downs in that, I don't know if it would be possible to get caught up in any reasonable time frame. But I was asked specifically to comment about the role of the investigators and how evidence was collected. And so, if y'all would like to see a live chat about that, where people could comment and one thing or another, let me know. But yeah, that's kind of what's on. That's kind of what's on tap right now. So, y'all, I'm Derek Judd for Cowboy Criminology. Of course, I am the Cowboy Criminologist. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you next time.